Hello students, welcome to ATC. In this video, we will see about push-down automata. The need for push-down automata. So what is the need for PDA is that DFSM or NDFSM is not so powerful to recognize many context-free languages. For finite automata, by the name itself, we can make out it is finite automata, so which has finite memory. Hence, it is not possible to construct CFL using DFSM or NDFSM here. Okay, because context-free languages are ones which are having some expressions where we need to have a count of the previous inputs. So it is not possible to construct them using finite automata. So we will see some examples for pushdown automata. Let's say the first example during parenthesis matching. It might be round brackets or curly brackets or whatever square brackets. So in this example I have taken parenthesis here. So during parenthesis matching, if we encounter left parenthesis, it is required to store the left parenthesis on the stack, and as we encounter the right parenthesis, then we need to pop the corresponding left parenthesis from the stack. So stack is used to remember the scanned symbols in PDA. And PDA is required to count the symbols also. Let's say I have a language A power n, B power n. So let's say I'll just take an example. Let's take n as 2 or something here. So what happens is, suppose I take n as 2, my expression will be, my string will be A, B, B. So I will have to count how many A's I have, then only the corresponding B's can be matched. Okay, so for such purpose, we need push down automata. Since DFSMs and NDFSMs, they cannot count and store the input for future reference, we have to have a new machine which consists of one extra stack, and this machine we call it as PDA. This is the definition of PDA. So it is a 7-tuple notation which is having a Q, which is nothing but a set of finite states. Then sigma is a set of input alphabets. Tau is a set of stack alphabets. On the stack, whatever alphabets we push or pop, that we call it as tau here. And then delta is nothing but the transition. And then Q naught is a start state. And Z naught is nothing but the initial symbol on the stack, and F is nothing but the set of final states here. The transitions which are performed on PDA depends upon the current state of the machine, next input symbol what we are going to scan, and then the symbol on the top of the stack. Usually in finite automata, we will have the current state and the next input symbol, and then we will go with the next state or the same state. Whereas in PDA, we have one more symbol to be read, that is symbol on the top of the stack. And what are the actions which are performed by the machine are, first one is it changes the state from one to another, and then it replaces the symbol on the stack. The transition function accepts 3 parameters here. In a finite automata, we will have the transition of the state and the input symbol, whereas in PDA, it will accept 3 parameters. First one is a state, then second one is the input symbol, and the third one is top of the stack, that is stack symbol here. And delta returns a new state after changing the top of the stack here. So let's know how it looks like. We will see delta of state, input symbol, stack symbol will be equal to the new state and the stack symbol. It might be the same state as well sometimes, depending upon the situation. Okay. So let's take one example here. Delta of p comma a comma z is equal to p comma az is the transition function. Okay. So what does it mean? That means PDA is in the current state P. That means this state, it is in the same state, and it scans the input symbol A, which is nothing but, which is a subset of the input alphabets. And then once it checks, okay, P comma A comma, and what is there on the top of the stack? Z. Okay, it is that means the stack is empty here. Just Z is there on the top of the stack here. And then, so when the current state is P and we are scanning the symbol A, when the top of the stack is Z, then what happens? P comma A Z. That means the PDA is in the same state and it pushes the symbol A onto the stack. It pushes A onto the stack. So the resultant will be P comma AZ. That means A is pushed onto the stack here. So this is how it looks like, okay, the stack. So Z is the initial symbol we have on the stack. So once it reads A, I mean, like usually whenever Z is there on the stack and nothing else is there, that means the stack is empty and the pointer will be pointing to Z. Then what happens? I'm reading A. That means once I read A, it will be pushed onto the stack and the pointer will be moved to A here. Okay, so this is the meaning of this transition function. Let's take one more example. Delta of P comma A comma Z is equal to Q comma epsilon. Okay, so once you find epsilon, that means it is a pop function. Okay, the PDA is in the current state P and it scans the input symbol A. When the top of the stack is Z, then what happens? It is moving to the new state Q and epsilon. That means the topmost symbol will be deleted from the stack here. Okay, so as of now, we find A on the top of the stack here. When we perform this operation, so A will be popped out from the stack and pointer will be pointing to the Z, that is the topmost symbol of the stack here. Okay, so let us see what are the graphical representations of PDA here. Any state can be represented just like a finite automata state. So start state is also just like finite automata and final states are also represented with double concentric circles here. And the transition function is represented as, let's say, delta of P comma A comma Z is equal to Q comma alpha, means it is represented as A, that is the input symbol, comma the top of the stack, and then it is moving to what? Okay, the new value. So that has to be represented on the transition diagram. So we have P comma A comma Z, Q comma AZ we have. So we represent it as like this, P A comma Z slash AZ. Okay, that means P is the current state. I'm reading the input symbol A. When the top of the stack is Z, then what happens? It is moving to the new state Q and A will be pushed onto the stack. Let's see how to construct a PDA here. So we will take one example. Obtain a PDA to accept the language A power n, B power n when n is greater than or equal to 1 here. And this is a context-free language. A power n, B power n is a context-free language because we don't know exactly when we have to stop until we keep it in the memory. Okay, so with finite automata, it is not possible to construct A power n, B power n. So since the n number of A's should be followed by n number of B's, push all the symbols on the stack as long as the scanned input symbol is Z. That means, let's take one example. I will take n is equal to 3 now. So when n is 3, my string will be A followed by 3 B's. Okay. When I take n is equal to 2, it is A B. Okay. That means I have to push all the A's first onto the stack and then only I will understand, okay, every A has to be pushed onto the stack. Once I start reading B, then I will have to pop out one A for the corresponding B. That means this B is the corresponding to this A and this B is corresponding to this A and this B is corresponding to this A. Similarly, B, A and this B. That means for every B, I have to have a matching A here. Just in case I have one more B, that will be still on the stack itself. Okay, so we should be knowing that whenever we construct any PDA on the stack. Okay, initially the stack should be empty. Then after reading all the symbols, after pushing all the input symbols, after popping out all the symbols, I should not be left with anything in the stack again. Okay, so initially stack will be empty. Then even finally when the string is accepted, the stack has to be empty. In case any symbol is there on the stack, that means the string is rejected. Okay, let's take an example of that as well. So suppose I make W as A, B, B, B. So first what happens, we will push A onto the stack. We will push A onto the stack. Initially Z will be there. A I am pushing onto the stack. Then again one more A I am pushing onto the stack. Then I have B. So once I read B, now A has to be popped out from the stack. And then I'm reading B. So this A will be popped out from the stack. Again I have one more B. So B is still there on the stack itself. So this string is rejected, and this is not the one which we want. Okay, we wanted equal number of A's to be followed by same number of B's. Okay, so when the input pointer reaches the end of the string, the stack should be empty, and if the stack is empty, it indicates that the string scan has n number of A's followed by n number of B's here. Okay, so initially Q0 is the start state of the machine. This we should be knowing, and Z0 is the initial symbol on the stack. So when we have only Z0 on the stack of the symbol, that means what? When this becomes the top of the stack, that means stack is empty. And I'm taking one example. When n is 2, the language, the string will be A, B, B, epsilon. Okay, epsilon means this is the end of the string. Okay, so first I will read A. I will read first this A and push it onto the stack. So the transition function will be delta of Q0 comma A comma what is there on the top of the stack? Z0. So I'm writing Z0. So once I read one input symbol, I am going to push it onto the stack here. So delta of Q0 comma A comma Z0 will be Q0 comma A Z0. Okay, and now I have read the first symbol. When I read the second A, okay, now what happens? What will be there on the top of the stack? It is still A. That means say something like this. Okay, I will just show you. So this is the first thing what we have got. Okay, so now the top of the stack is A now. According to this, once I read the first A, so now I'm reading the second A. So that time what happens? What is there on the top of the stack? A. So this is there on the top of the stack, and then I will move the second A also onto the stack here. Okay, so A will be on the top of the stack. So this is how it looks like. Okay, so this is how it will be, and this is how it will be now. Okay, and it will move on to the second position here. Okay, now after this, what do we have? We have B. Okay, yeah, do not get confused. I have written A and Z0. Either I can write it here or I could have written it here itself. Okay, as Z0. Don't get confused. It is the same thing. Okay, so I can do like this. Okay, now what happens? I am reading B now. So A is read. A is read. Now I am reading B. So read B, and if the top of the stack is A, now what is there on the top of the stack? Yes, I have A. So in case I'm reading B and we have on the top of the stack that is A, then what are we supposed to do? We will have to pop out that A, and we also should change the state to Q1. So delta of Q0, the current state is Q0, and I'm reading B. What is there on the top of the stack? A. Then what I have to do? I will have to change the state and pop A from the stack. So popping means epsilon. Epsilon means it is pop function. This is pop function. Okay. Now what happens? It is come down. Okay. Now the top of the stack is pointing to A itself. Okay, so now again one more B I'm reading. Again the same procedure, but now my current state is Q1. So I'm reading B, I'm reading on the top of the stack is A. So again, I don't have to change the state again because it is a new state. So Q1 and pop the value. So now it will come down. Okay, now pointer will be pointing, the top of the stack will be pointing to Z naught now. Okay, so once it is pointing to Z naught means what? The stack is empty. So then what you have to do, once the stack becomes empty, change the state to Q2 and do not alter the contents of the stack. That means delta of Q1, what are you reading now? Nothing. So epsilon, what is on the top of the stack? Z naught. Then you are changing the state and nothing. You are not anything you are pushing into the stack. That's all. Okay, you're not altering anything. That means this becomes your final state. The string is accepted. So this is the final state. Okay, so what are the steps we have to follow is that let Q not be the start state and Z not be the initial symbol, and as long as the next input symbol to be scanned is A, irrespective of what is there on the stack, you do not worry about that. Just keep pushing all the symbols onto the stack and remain in Q naught itself. So we have Q naught comma A comma Z naught. This is the push operation. This is the first A we are pushing onto the stack. And any number of A's we have, again we just keep on pushing them onto the stack. Then once in Q naught, in case, okay, the next input symbol to be scanned is B, and if the top of the stack is A, that means what? Okay, we have got a matching value here. So change the state to Q1 and then pop A from the stack. So we are at Q naught, BA, we change the state and then pop out the value. Okay, similarly, we are at Q1. In case you have any number of B's, when the top of the stack is empty, again the same operation you're doing, that is pop. So once all these are done, you know nothing else. Okay, you just have only Z naught on the top of the stack. So then read nothing, do not alter the contents, and make Q2 as the final state. Okay, so this thing you have to write in in forms of transition functions like this, and then draw the transition diagram as it is. That means Q naught, Q1, Q2 are the three states. Q naught is a start symbol, Q2 is a final state, and Q naught upon A, when the top of the stack is Z naught, where is it moving to? Q naught. So it is a self loop, and the value will be A Z naught. So that is what we have done here. Okay. So similarly, Q naught upon A, and it is moved onto the stack. It is pushed onto the stack. Then when Q naught B, Q naught upon B, when the top of the stack is A, you are pushing it. Okay, you are popping it out on from the stack. So epsilon. Okay, so this is also we are done with. Then the fourth one is also done. This is the fifth one. Okay, so this is about how we are constructing a PDE. The next one, this is also very important. We call it as instantaneous description. So this is an informal notation of how a PDA computes the string and make a decision that string is accepted or rejected. So the ID contains Q, X, and gamma. So Q nothing but the present state. X may be input string to be processed, the complete string to be processed. See, in PDA transition function, we will just write one symbol. Okay, whereas here the complete string which is to be processed, we will write. And gamma is nothing but what will be the content of the stack, complete content. Okay, so let's take the same example. So these are the transitions for A power n, B power n, and how we will write the ID is that let's assume one string A, B, B, B. So how we are writing the ID, we will see. So initial ID will be Q naught, the initial state, and the complete string, and what is the content of the stack? Z naught. So this will be the initial ID. Okay, and then it will be moved on to the next one, Q naught. Okay, now what is the first thing we did? We pushed A onto the stack, no? So Q naught, what is the string which has to be processed now? Since A has pushed onto the stack, we are left with only A, B, B. So A, Z naught. Then what happens? We are at Q naught. Then again A also we pushed onto the stack. So we are left with A, B, B, B. So the left out string you have, that is the string to be processed, you are writing as the second parameter. And the third parameter is the stack value contents. Okay, so similarly, we are left with now BBB, and then AAA has, all the three values have moved on to the stack. Now, since B is there, I'm changing the state. Then for 1B, I am popping out 1A. So I'm left out with 2Bs and then 2As, then 1B, 1A. Similarly, then I'm left with epsilon here. So once this becomes epsilon and Z naught, I will change the state and then my contents are not altered. So this is the final configuration. So since, look at this, Q2 is a final state and the input string is epsilon, that means I'm not left out with any inputs now. So in the final configuration, so the string AAA BBB is accepted by the PTA. Okay.